I mentioned the book to you in one of the articles about that I was reading, Fooling Houdini, and that just stimulated all kind of ideas. So I started looking around Chicago and seeing who was really good, and I came up with 3 names of really good magicians in the city of Chicago. And I called those people and talked to them, and the person I'm introduced here shortly, Dennis Watkins, was the #1 selection from the people that I talked to. Time Out Magazine, Huntington Post have had absolutely wonderful things to say about Dennis. And at this point in time, I'd really like to say, I hope you guys have a good time. I hope you have a good time. And Dennis, thank you very much. And Dennis is in charge.
Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dennis, and I will be your magician for the next half hour or so. Before we get started, there are a couple of quick sort of procedural matters for us to tackle. First and foremost, sir, right here behind the laptop, what is your name?
Kevin.
Kevin? Kevin, I'm going to give you a very important job, sir. I'm going to make you the keeper of the orange. I call it the magic thingy. Sir in the glasses, what is your name?
Bob. No.
Bob, oh, we'll go with Bob, because I can get to you a little quicker, Bob. Bob, this is the magic thingy. I'm going to ask you to hold on to that. Same drill. Guard it with your life. In just a little while, I will say, I need a magic thingy. When I say that, it will be your job to hold that above your head and scream as loud as you can, I have a magic thingy. It sounds weird, but that is the line, and you cannot change it. Also, you don't get a rehearsal. So this being done, folks, we're going to move directly into the magic, for which I need to borrow a $1 bill. Does anybody have a 1 that I could borrow? You'd be crazy to give me more. You can trust me with a 1. I'll guarantee you $1 worth of entertainment. You've got one, sir? Excellent. Would you stand up and bring that down here and join me? Give the gentleman a big round of applause. And you can stand right here. Thank you, sir. What is your name?
Mike.
Mike, thank you very much. We're going to do a little trick with your money. Every bill, folks, has a serial number. That number is printed in these 2 corners. It is here to differentiate this bill from every other bill in circulation, correct?
Yes.
Correct. We're going to begin by tearing part of that serial number off of your bill. Hold on to this. That is important. You said Mike?
Yes.
Mike, the rest of your money we tear up into a bunch of little pieces. So, sir, thank you for trusting me with your money. I hope you've learned something from this. We're going to take all the torn up pieces and fold them into a tiny little packet. A packet, Mike, I would like you to hold on to in your other hand. Just keep it separate from the corner. That is important. I bought a little piece of tissue paper, folks. The piece of tissue paper is so that we can make a little paper pocket of sorts for all the torn up pieces. So you keep the corner. The torn up pieces go down inside our little paper pocket. And folks, I also brought a lighter. Mike, the lighter is so we can take your money and give it one of these. Now here's the fun part. Face the group nice and square. Hold your left hand in the air so everyone can see that it's empty. Mike, I'm going to count to 3. When I get to 3, I want you to take that left hand. I want you to reach into your left hand pocket. In that pocket, you're going to find a $1 bill, put back together, but missing 1 corner. The tear on that bill is going to match the tear on this corner exactly. Both serial numbers will be the same, proving it to be the bill we started with. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, reach into that left-hand pocket where you're going to find a $1 bill put back together but missing 1 corner. The tear is going to match. The serial numbers will be the same, proving it to be the bill we started. Whoa, man. It wouldn't be with that. It would be by itself. You're looking for just a 1 all by itself. Put back to...
Get a hold in
No?
that pocket.
That would have been a hell of a trick, though. Huh? That's right, you got a 20 in there? You know what, ladies and gentlemen, instead of the dollar thing, the best trick I can do with fire. Mike, watch closely. Here we go. Watch. All right, forget it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a backup plan. I need an orange.
I have an orange.
Well done. Walk that right up here. I'm counting 3. Hold on now. The orange, ladies and gentlemen, is the backup plan for the trick. So we're going to take a knife. We're going to cut into it at the middle, all the way around. And Mike, I want you to look nice and close because inside is a little something strange. Do you see that?
Yes.
Grab it, Mike. Pull it out. Well done, sir. I'm going to help you out with that because it is, in fact, just a little bit juicy. Ladies and gentlemen, we see it to be a 1. Put back together. Missing 1 corner. Mike, take the corner in your hand. Make sure it fits exactly. Make sure the serial numbers in both corners are the same. Is it true, Mike?
Yes, it is.
It's true. Give Mike a round of applause. Mike, good work. a citrus fresh dollar bill for you. Thank you very much. So folks, as we get started, I'd like to tell people a couple of quick things about me so you know a little bit about what to expect during our time together. I actually grew up in a family of magicians. My grandmother, my grandfather, my aunts and uncles were all sleight of hand performers. And in fact, my grandfather ran a small storefront magic shop in Dallas, Texas for about 30 years. When I was right around the age of 7, I asked him to teach me to do magic. He was thrilled. He took me into his study, and he took a single book from the bookshelf. It was a large, leather-bound volume, the title of which I will not disclose, and he directed me to read a little passage which went like this. The magician's art is to take people to a land of enchantment. To do this, he uses the skills of prestidigitation, or sleight of hand, to create miracles in the imaginations of his audience. Now, he taught me that there are several tools we magicians use to push your imaginations as far as possible. They, of course, include misdirection, sleight of hand, lying. He taught me that my moves, my methods, my mechanics are really only important because they help you to imagine. That none of those tools I mentioned just a minute ago will ever compare to that of the audience's imagination in itself. That nothing I can create will be as powerful or as real ultimately as what you can imagine. He told me that if you understand that, you will understand that you don't need all of the fancy props, the smoke, the mirrors, the confetti. All you will need is a room full of eager imaginations, and they will do all of the work for you. And it was this idea that the imagination was so powerful that could actually create magic that sort of gave birth to this next little magic trick. Miss right here in the black shirt, would you join me for a second? Would you give her a big round of applause as she makes her way? What is your name?
Marjorie.
Marjorie?
Yes.
Marjorie, I'm Dennis. It is a pleasure to meet me. You can step right over here. And I brought something very fun, a very special little prop for this trick. This is it. Marjorie, do you know what this is?
Looks lovely.
Oh, thank you. This is an invisible deck of cards. Marjorie, take the cards if you would. Face the audience, please. And I'm going to ask you to use those. I'm going to ask you to shuffle them for me. Take them out of the box first. Okay. I'll take the box. We don't want to lose that. It makes it that much harder to keep up with the cards. So give those a good shuffle.
Okay.
All done?
Yes.
Terrific. There's a little invisible table to your left. Would you set those on? It's a little taller than that, Marjorie. Good. Perfect. Now, I'm going to ask that you move that table sort of right over here between us. Now, here's the deal. It's on wheels, so you don't have to pick it up. You can just push it right over. Excellent. Oh, good work, Marjorie. Now, spread the cards across the tabletop. Face up is better than face down. Good. Give them a good, thorough look. Does the deck look okay to you?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Gather them up. Hand them to me. Now, Marjorie, this is where this starts to become sort of a more traditional card trick, yeah? I'm going to show you the faces of the cards. I want you to reach in there and grab one. Don't pick something obvious like an ace, but pick a good card. Reach in here and grab one, Marjorie. That one? Pull it out. Look at it. Don't show me. Show the audience. Marjorie, put the card back in the deck. Oh, good, good. Thank you for your attention to detail. Good. So these go back in the box. And Marjorie, here's the thing. At this point, you've examined the deck. It's a totally normal invisible deck of cards. Nothing seems strange or unusual about it. You reached into it. You took out a single card, a single playing card, yes?
Yes.
I didn't influence you as to which card to choose or anything like that. Is that true?
True.
Marjorie, for the first time, what is the card that you chose?
8 of hearts.
The 8 of hearts. Now, Marjorie, I'm going to do something I don't usually do. I'm going to offer you a chance to change your mind. Okay then. Ladies and gentlemen, I need the magic thingy.
I have the magic.
You have the magic thingy. I chose as a key to the magic thingy. Marjorie, I would like you to hold on to this. Stay right there. I'll get that now. Sir, this is a locked box, yes, and it's been locked this whole time?
Yes.
I couldn't have gotten into it if I wanted to. Is that true?
True.
True. Excellent. Marjorie, unlock the magic thingy. Take the lock. What do you see inside?
A card.
A card, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry, I too was stunned to silence at this point. Marjorie, I'll take that. You don't need that. Cup your hands because I don't want to touch it. I'm going to dump this out. Take it. Unfold it. Look at it. Show it to them. That is the 8 of hearts. Nicely done, Marjorie. Nicely done. You can have a seat. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am not a traitor. But in my conversations with Jim over the last week about what he does and about his goals for you and for this workshop, it started to dawn on me that it's very likely you and I spend a lot of time looking at 2 different sides of the same coin. And if you'll bear with me, I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. I need to borrow somebody from the group. Sir, what's your name?
Morgan.
Morgan? Morgan, would you join me for a second? Give Morgan a round of applause. Morgan, this chair is for you, sir. If you wouldn't mind having a seat, that would be terrific. And Morgan, I'm going to do something I don't typically do. I'm going to offer you a choice. It's an opportunity, if you will, to control where we go from here. Morgan, would you prefer to see the trick with the toilet paper or the trick with the magic box?
I'll go with the toilet paper.
You're a weird guy, Morgan. Toilet paper to spin that chair so you're facing the back wall. Perfect. Morgan, take your right index finger and point directly at the ceiling. Your left index finger at the ceiling as well. Point them at each other right in front of your chin. Excellent. This goes right here. Elbows in just a little bit. Hands out. You know what, Morgan, forgive me.
Yeah.
That's just a matter of personal preference. Now, Morgan. From here on out, my friend, you'll have one job and one job only. That's to keep an eye on the toilet paper in my hand at all times. Not this one, this one. 1, 2, 3. Blow on it, Morgan. Ooh, good work, Morgan. That was good. It was so good that we're going to do it again. But we're going to use a little bit more toilet paper. Because, Morgan, if we use a little bit more toilet paper, it makes my job a little bit harder. It makes your job a little bit easier. It does that because more toilet paper means one thing and one thing only. That's a bigger ball, which means I have more to hide. You have more to see. Blow on it, sir. Good, Morgan. Very good. So good. We're going to do it one more time. We're going to use a little bit more toilet paper, though, Morgan, because, again, that makes my job that much harder. It makes your job that much easier. It's a nice big ball. A nice big one. Morgan, watch it closely. Try not to let it out of your sight. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Did you see it go?
No.
That's because it's still there, Morgan. Good work. Good work. 1, 2, 3. Blow on it, Morgan. Ooh, nicely done. Give Morgan a round of applause. Morgan, good work. Stand up. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jim has been talking about the very deadly mistake that traders make. And that mistake is trading based on price instead of trading based on value. Traders watch price and then sort of trade in accordance to its movement, yeah? But we have learned that price is not king. We have learned that price is just an advertising mechanism used to push a commodity. And though that advertising mechanism is related to the commodity, they are not the same thing. And we know this. And even though we know this, we fixate on price. We watch nothing but price. In magician language, we watch the wrong hand, right? In other words, our frame of vision is quite simply too small. Now, Morgan's frame of vision, of course, was about right here, yeah? This is Morgan's frame of vision. This is what we call the zone of fixation. And then everything outside of that zone of fixation gets cloaked in inattentional blindness, not unintentional blindness, inattentional blindness, unintentional though it may be. Now you guys all had a much wider field of vision. So you didn't get misdirected, you didn't get distracted, you saw the truth of what was happening right in front of you. Now, we know this is a mistake that we make, but we want to stop making the mistake, right? So you have to ask yourself, why do I watch the wrong thing? Why do I fixate on price? And the answer, I think, is that your imagination just takes control. Now, your imagination is a very strong and powerful thing, and it builds for you that little zone of fixation. It cloaks everything outside of that zone in the inattentional blindness. And that's good for me as a magician, right? That's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I work for. And because your imagination sort of takes control, I work to spark that imagination. I work to spark it in a way that it takes off, and then it hides the truth. It distracts you from what you're really looking at. Now, we're going to go a little further. I'm going to try to demonstrate that for you in as blatant and clear a way as I possibly can. What's your name, sir?
Duncan.
Duncan?
Yeah.
Duncan, that's correct. Very good, Duncan. Duncan. Have you ever had your mind read, sir?
No.
No, good, Duncan. Good. So we're going to do a little bit of mind reading. I'm going to ask you to think of a person. Here's the thing. It's important that this be a person that brings about some kind of really strong emotional response from you. So I'm going to help you focus this. Duncan, I want you to think back several years to the first crush that you can remember having. That very first sort of life-changing, heart-stopping crush. Do you remember that person?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of blushing. Of course you do. Okay, good. So, Duncan, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take this. I want you to write their name clearly in the center of that page, and once you're done, Duncan, tear off the page, fold it up, put it in your pocket. It will be for you and only for you, unless we need it for verification or proof later on. Perhaps you forget or try and lie about it. Fold it up so that I can't see it. Well done. I'm going to take this. What's your name, sir?
Ron.
Ron, I'm going to ask you to think of something as well. Not a person. We have a person. I'm going to ask you to think of something a little different. I'm going to ask you to think of a number. Now, low numbers, like 1s and 10s, are really easy. So I'm going to ask that you go a little higher than that. So go higher than 20, but only 2 digits for this exercise. Yeah, you'll understand why in just a few minutes. Same drill. Write it down clearly in the center of the page. When you're done, tear off the page, fold it up, put it in your pocket. It's going to be for you and only for you. You're done already? Excellent. You can just hold on to those things. I'll get them from you later on. Okay. So you've got a person, a crush, if you will. You've got a number. Yes? Duncan, we're going to start with you. I want you to picture that person. Okay. And I want you to picture their name as though it's written right above my head. Yeah? Really try to see those letters. Begins with a T, yes?
No.
Okay, so mind reading is hard. It does not start with a T.
No.
Okay, Duncan, here's the thing. I'm getting something from you, but I'll be honest, it's a little bit fuzzy. So we're going to try to focus your thought a little bit. I'm going to need you to stand up. I'm going to need you to come down here for me, if you would. Give Duncan a round of applause. In case you were wondering, Morgan. Okay, and you can stand right here. Yeah, so we're going to help try to focus your thought a little bit by giving it a container of some sort. This is the container, Duncan. It's a bottle. It's an IBC root beer bottle. I want you to take your first 2 fingers on your thumb and pinch the mouth of the bottle right there. Now, Duncan, this is not your thought. This is merely the container for your thought, yes?
Okay.
I'm going to give you the thought. The thought is another piece of glass. It's a little shard from an identical bottle.
Okay.
Duncan, I'm going to drop the shard into the bottle. When it hits the bottom, you're going to hear a clinking noise. And when you hear that clinking noise, I want you to think of that crush. I want you to think of every feeling, every thought you have attached to them, send it down your arm and into that bottle. Yes?
Right.
So step 1 is to name the shard after that person. Do it in your imagination. Don't say it out loud. Have you done so?
Yeah.
Great. I'm going to drop it in. It's going to clink. You're going to think about that person. Send those thoughts down here. If I don't get it right away, Duncan, I'm going to ask that you start shaking the bottle back and forth so that we can hear your crush clinking around in there. Every time you hear it, you think of this person. Yes?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Nothing. Shake it.
Oh, jeez.
Marv. Is it Marv? Cox?
Marie Cox.
Marie Cox! Close! Give her a round of applause! Good work! Marie Cox! You can have a seat. Thank you, sir. So, now the first thing to know about this kind of mind reading is, of course, that, and it might seem obvious to some of you, I do not have any kind of psychic power or telekinetic ability. That reading your mind is essentially accomplished through simple methods and simple misdirection. And it's the same sort of simple methods and simple misdirection the stage mentalists have been using for well over a century. But these methods, the idea of possessing that kind of power, the very idea of being able to reach into somebody else's head and read their thoughts is really, really exciting to people. And because of that, it creates sort of a strong emotional hook. And because of that emotional hook, it gives me something that I can use to sort of exploit and distract you from the truth of the picture that's going on, yeah? So this is what we do. Now, I'm not going to explain to you exactly how that works. I'm going to remind you again that it is simple and that it requires misdirection and that every piece of what you just saw, the crush I had you think of, the bottle, the explosion of that bottle, all of those pieces are engineered to sort of ignite your imagination, to hook you emotionally, and then distract you from what's happening right in front of you, yeah? That's the point. Now, we all know that we can do this. We all know that we fall for that. So you have to ask yourselves, when I am fixated on something like price, when I am fixated on price, when I can't see anything different, what am I really thinking about? What am I really imagining? Am I in fact imagining profits? Am I imagining losses? Am I excited? Am I afraid? Am I imagining rather than seeing? And one step further, am I actually seeing something that is a very small spot in what is frankly a much larger picture? With that, we move to your number. You've been thinking of a number?
Mm-hmm.
Great. And you said it's Ron, is that right?
Yes.
Ron, numbers are harder for me, and they're harder for me because we don't have the same kind of emotional connection to them that we do people, yeah? They're a little bit more abstract. So Ron, instead of going straight for it, let's bring that down, that's good. I'm gonna give myself a couple of chances. I'm gonna give myself 16 chances. Picture it, send it to me.
I'm sorry?
Picture it and just send it to me.
Okay.
Okay. Concentrate on it. Try not to let that picture fade or leave your mind's eye. We're getting close. I'm getting some low numbers. Did you go higher than 20?
Yes.
Close. Don't tell me what it is. Closer to 20 or closer to 100?
That's pretty good. Closer to 100.
Fascinating. Okay. No, that can't be right. Ron,
Wow.
which one is your number?
None of them.
None of them.
None of them. Unless we start.
Okay, Ron, what if I were to tell you that this little trick basically sums up what we've been talking about since I started, yeah? That essentially what you're falling victim to is being stuck in sort of a zone of fixation, yeah? Because you're looking at a single point on this board. And what you need to do, Ron, is sort of widen your horizon so you can take a broader picture of it and so that you can really not only see, but perceive. So, Ron, if you were to look at row number 1, for example, you would see that 8 and 2 is 10, 52 is 62, and 11 gives me 73. What is your number?
I have to refresh my memory.
Oh, that explains something. 73! Not bad, not bad. Now that's interesting, yeah? But judging by the applause, not too terribly impressive. So stick with it. Look, if you will, ladies and gentlemen, at row number 2. If you look at row number 2, you're going to see that 7 and 12 is 19, 20, and 53 is 73. And then if you look at row 3, you'll see that 4 and 6 is 10, 19, 54 is 73. And then if you look at row number 4, you'll see that 5 and 10 is 15, 18, and 55 is 73. All 4 rows add up to your number, which is cool.
Yes.
But nobody's clapping, so I'll keep going. Look, ladies and gentlemen, if you will, at the columns. You'll see that 5 and 4 is 9, 20, 53 is 73. 8 and 1 is 9, 19, 54 is 73. 6 and 3 is 9, 12, and 52 is 73. 7 and 2 is 9, 9 is 18, and 55 is 73. That's all 4 rows and all 4 columns. But the astute among you have probably already noticed the diagonals. 11 and 1 is 12, 18, 55 is 73. 2 and 12 is 14, 19, 54 is 73. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, 4 and 5 is 9, 19, 54 is 73. 6 and 3 is 9, 9 is 18, 55 is 73. 7 and 2 is 9, 12 and 52 is 73. 8 and 1 is 9, that's 20. 53 is 73. Not bad. But, ladies and gentlemen, these 4 add up to 73. These 4 add up to 73. The 4 in the middle add up to 73. These 2 plus these 2 add up to 73. These 2 plus these 2 add up to 73. And Ron, just for fun, I made sure the corners 11 and 2 is 13, 18, 55 is 73. Give Ron a round of applause. So folks, I hope that during our very short time together, we've got a chance to sort of poke into your imaginations and mess with the way that you perceive things, help you understand the sway that your imagination can have over your point of vision. My name is Dennis. Thanks for spending this time with me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks a lot.
Now you know I got all the reports that I got. Anyhow, let's take a 5-minute break, and Dennis, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.